2 match, where the weakest of each group will be eliminated. That leaves the remaining 8 to continue their paths of glory. To facilitate the epic battles between the giants, the MSC 2022 arena will be held at the City of Contrast and Diversity, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Witness the clash of titans from the supreme MLBB region from June 11th until June 19th. Follow hashtag SupremeAC for more updates. Mobile Legends Bang Bang, where heroes make history. The MLBB Southeast Asia Cup, or MSC 2022. Who shall conquer and who shall be conquered? Which team will soar above the clouds and be crowned as the king of Southeast Asia? The MSC 2022 arena will be held at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, from June 11th until June 19th. Follow hashtag SupremeAC for more updates. Mobile Legends Bang Bang, where heroes make history.
Defeated with this?
Before we get started, let's warm up.
That means...
Oh! Defeating the humanoids enhances your weapon!
So, surviving players inherit the weapon level from the defeated.
Over there! That is the real target!
Halo semua, nama saya Niki Fernando Pontodowo. Hal yang gue rasain waktu datang di Hanoi, tempatnya sangat nyaman, bagus, bersih, dan juga bisa kayak apa ya, suasananya nyaman banget lah. Kalau makanan di Hanoi, kalau dari gue belum makan. Cuman kalau menurut gue makanan di Hanoi enak dan bakalan bisa jadi selera gue juga sih. Buat tim yang buat gue lawan, paling dari Filipina juga sih, Filipina. Buat kalian semua yang ada di Indonesia, selalu dukung kita karena kita akan berjuang untuk Indonesia, buat bangsa kita, buat mengharumkan nama Indonesia. Dan gue akan ngelakuin yang terbaik, kasih yang terbaik biar kita bisa dapat emas.
Halo, nama aku Gilang, nickname Sans. Ini nggak ada pikiran kayak gitu sih, soalnya dulu tuh main rank biasa doang, main terus rank. Kalau kepikiran jadi pro player, enggak. Kita main rank doang soalnya, cuma dulu. Kenapa tiba-tiba main Mobile Legends? Dulunya main game lain sebenarnya, terus kan teman-teman yang lain mainnya Mobile Legends, ya udah ikut main Mobile Legends juga, dan sampai sekarang main Mobile Legends. Rasanya ya paling pertama ya senang banget lah, ini kan pertama kali aku juga kepilih jadi masuk SEA Games, ya nggak ada lain-lain sih, pasti senang banget. Buat Indonesia, dukung kita terus semuanya biar kita makin semangat dan semoga kita nanti mendapatkan medali emas.
We want to do our best and get the best outcome that we can get. Of course, gold medal is what we want to do. After this tournament, we all have our own competition to go on. But right now, we just compete together as a team to do the best result for our country. We actually want to try a lot of food, but I'm afraid that there's a lot of restriction going on in SEA Games. Yeah, and kita apa?
One voice.
Timnas MLBB Indonesia. Yang terbaik. Yeah.
Xin chào mọi người, mình là Lê Ngọc Anh, có nickname là Mèo Ú và mình đến từ team Let's Play Esports và mình đang chơi ở vị trí offlane cho team. Công việc của em hiện tại đang là sinh viên ở một trường đại học và cái cản trở lớn nhất của khi mà chơi game đấy là việc khi mà chơi thì tập thi cử thì vẫn vướng mắc khá là nhiều, nhưng vấn đề đấy thì em vẫn có thể sắp xếp được. Nếu mà nói về gia đình thì gia đình em ủng hộ, khá là vui. Còn bạn bè thì nhiều đứa thì nó khá là kiểu đùa và có những thứ nó cổ vũ cho mình, nó làm mình có nhiều động lực hơn. Nếu mà lời nhắn nhủ thì em không nói trước được là mình có thể giành vô địch hay không, nhưng mà em thì chắc chắn là sẽ nỗ lực hết sức mình và mong là mọi người cùng các bạn cũng như là người thân là ủng hộ hết sức mình cho em.
Chào mọi người, mình là Đức Lam, nickname của mình là Mel. Mình đến từ đội Cyber SEA và hiện tại mình đang thi đấu cho đội tuyển Việt Nam ở vị trí đi rừng. Em chưa từng nghĩ là mình sẽ trở thành một tuyển thủ chuyên nghiệp, bởi vì em đặt vấn đề học ở bên trên vấn đề trở thành tuyển thủ. Nếu có cơ hội thì em muốn được gặp team AQ của nước Indonesia, vì em xem rất nhiều giải đấu và em hâm mộ họ và các tuyển thủ bên AQ và em muốn một lần đối đầu với họ. Lần này mình không chắc là sẽ vô địch, nhưng mình sẽ cố gắng hết sức để đạt được kết quả tốt nhất tại kỳ SEA Games lần này và mong các bạn sẽ ủng hộ mình ạ.
Em xin giới thiệu là em là Lâm Đạt, nickname của em là Nhọ và em đang chơi cho đội tuyển Cyber SEA. Em thấy người ta hiện tại của game rất là đa dạng, cứng tanh cũng có thể đi rừng. Thị tiếng của em yêu thích là Linh. Tiêu của đội em là sẽ lọt vào top 4 và nếu có thể sẽ cố gắng đạt được huy chương vàng, Việt Nam vô địch. Xin chào mọi người, mình là Đỗ Tiến Thành, mình in game là Bích Ngọc, đến từ đội tuyển Bánh Có Ngon và hiện tại đang thi đấu cho đội tuyển Việt Nam ở vị trí solo. Đến với bộ môn Mobile Legends Bang Bang cũng là một điều khá là bất ngờ, vì khi mà mình đang rất là rảnh và mình lên App Store mình đã tải bộ môn này về chơi thử và thấy rất là đam mê. Thành quả là mình đã tham gia khá nhiều giải đấu trong nước và đây là lần đầu tiên mình được tham gia một giải đấu lớn ở tầm cỡ quốc tế. Thực ra là công việc hiện tại của mình cũng khá liên quan đến game và rất là rảnh về thời gian, nên là tham gia kỳ SEA Games này không ảnh hưởng nhiều đến công việc của mình. Công việc hiện tại của mình cũng liên quan đến game nên là có nhiều thời gian rảnh và không bị ảnh hưởng gì khi mà tham dự kỳ SEA Games này. Việt Nam vô địch.
Xin chào mọi người, mình tên là Phạm Ngọc Trạng, tên in game của mình là Ginat và mình đến từ đội tuyển Cyber SEA và mình được đại diện team Việt Nam tham dự giải đấu lần này. Và đây là lần thứ 2 mình được đến với Hà Nội và mình thấy không khí Hà Nội rất là mát mẻ và đường xá thì rất là đông đúc. Mình đến với tựa game này cũng là khá là bất ngờ thì mình tải lộn game. Giải đấu này bọn mình không chắc chắn là sẽ vô địch, nhưng mà mong các bạn khán giả và mọi người luôn ủng hộ team mình.
Việt Nam vô địch. Xin chào mọi người, mình là anh Tú và mình có nickname là Mio Extreme. Mình đến từ tổ đội của NXP và hiện tại mình đang đi vị trí đường giữa cho đội tuyển của quốc gia Việt Nam. Đến thời điểm hiện tại thì
Hello and a very good morning to everyone all across Southeast Asia as well as everyone around the globe. Welcome to the 31st SEA Games Mobile Legends Bang Bang event, where for this one, 7 national teams came to compete, but now there's only left with 5 national teams. My name is Lafel, and alongside of me is IC Baby 12. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good. It's great to be back once again as well, and it's great to see you guys coming and home, waking up early to support your favorite teams. National pride is on the line for all these teams, and now we're looking for our final semi-finalists heading towards the final stages for today. But before that, shout out to our amazing organizers as well. The tournament is organized by the Vietnam Recreational and Electronic Sports Association, also known as VRESA, in cooperation with VNG Games, Mobile Legends Bang Bang publisher in Vietnam, as well as Moonton, the developer of Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Thank you guys so much for making all this happen, and most importantly, thank you guys at home for supporting your favorite teams as well as watching the English broadcast.
We also want to say hello to everyone at the National Convention Center in Hanoi, Vietnam, where the SEA Games is being held. And yes, like we said, it's 5 national teams because we're gonna begin with a tiebreaker where whoever wins this best of 1 series will be having the opportunity to get a medal. And right now we are inviting the Vietnamese team onto the stage, where yesterday they went up against Indonesia as well as Singapore. They managed to get a win onto Singapore, and right now they're here representing Vietnam again for a chance to go to the semi-finals.
Yep, in case you guys were wondering as well, because Team Vietnam, they are looking to try and get into the top 4, while if possible making it towards the semi-finals or maybe even the grand finals in that regards. But all in all, their opponents that is going to be stopping them in this track, Team Singapore. No strangers to the Mobile Legends scene. We have them again up on stage with a convincing second game against Team Vietnam in their yesterday's games.
Yeah, we can see how the Singaporean team, even if they begin the game not looking so well, they can have that mental shift and actually use that to their own advantage to surprise their opponents. And right now, for the team from Vietnam as well as Singapore, they have fought against each other yesterday. And today, instead of a best of 2, this is going to be a best of 1. So they have to give their very best for this one. They can't keep any secrets because, again, this is for an opportunity to get a medal. Because if you lose this one, then you're going home.
Well, speaking of going home as well, you can see the faces of everyone as well. There is a lot of tension between the teams itself because it is going to be a do or die, and it is only the beginning of the tournament for day number 2, considering that whoever wins the series will be going up against Team Philippines right after this. So it is going to be a lot of pride as well, and hopefully the preparations are going to be installed for either of these teams to pull out the pocket strats, because when it comes to best of ones, anything goes, and whoever cheeses their way through is going to come on top and make it into the top 4.
I personally, right now, looking at both of these national teams, for everyone watching, you know, you gotta give respect to them. But right now, we're gonna introduce the lineup from Vietnam: No, Mio, Ngonchan, Duc Nam, as well as Gennard, where yesterday they were able to tackle Team Singapore, pushing them all the way to the late game and win in the first best of 2 match against Singapore.
Yep, Team Vietnam, they have pulled off some very, very interesting drafts as well, bringing in the double fighter meta, which is very, very slow in terms of pace. However, was able to somehow take a win against Team Singapore and catching off guard. So with that consistency over time, they have improved in their overall game style. But is it enough to make it into its top 4? Because their opponents representing from Singapore, we will have Seoul, JPL, Sayla, Reminiscence, as well as Adamir to be representing from the side of Team Singapore.
And right now, looking for both of these teams, the national athletes, their performance has been good. But I do have to say, Team Singapore, in the second game against Vietnam, it was very, very convincing. And the person who managed to get the MVP that played really well is Adamir. So we do have to see Vietnam, how will they draft against Team Singapore? Because the very first game where they won, they managed to get all the heroes of Sayla out of the game, and that gave them the win. I wonder if they're going to use the same strategy against Singapore again.
Seems like targeting bans has been the recent trend as well. And the thing about playing in a competitive scene, having mastery of multiple heroes keeps your composition and drafts available to be flexible, but at the same time, being not flexible enough may be a double-edged sword, despite having great mastery on certain heroes. For example, heroes like Lynx, heroes like Yu Zhong. If you can only play one specific hero, doesn't necessarily you can play them all. So it's all about keeping things fresh, keeping things interesting. So I'm looking forward to see whether or not is Team Singapore going to be bringing something new to the table, or will Team Vietnam, the underdogs coming in, or in this case, fight their way into the top 4.
Personally, for me, I feel like if we're going to see interesting drafts, it's definitely going to come from Team Vietnam, because the Singaporean team, in terms of the draft, they don't really fly too far away from their own formula, from their own recipe. The only thing is, sometimes they draft a little bit unbalanced. Sometimes they have too many heavy hitters in the late game, but not enough in the early game. And the very, very first match against Vietnam yesterday, they did not have enough crowd control. They have slow, but the slows are not enough, especially when Team Vietnam, they themselves have a Lilia. So in that kind of situation, there was nothing much that the Singaporean team can do. So hopefully this is a best of 1. Any small mistake can lead to your defeat. And it really does start from the draft, because if your draft is not really comfortable, then your own gameplay will suffer as well.
Exactly. Sometimes it's all about pushing the limits. Sometimes it's all about playing towards your playstyle, or sometimes even go a little bit crazy. But as of now, I don't exactly know what Team Singapore and Team Vietnam is going to be installed. But what I know is this is going to be them fighting for their lives here in the 31st SEA Games, whether or not they make it or not. However, like I said as well, it's only the beginning of the hustle, because right after this series, whoever wins, either may it be for Vietnam or Singapore, they are going to be going up against the Team Philippines, the MLBB powerhouses with a undefeated record yesterday.
Speaking of record, actually, we brought this up yesterday, but in terms of history, the previous SEA Games, the 30th SEA Games, when Vietnam faced against Singapore, their score was 1-1. The same thing happened in this time 31st SEA Games, where it's hosted here in Vietnam. So, all right, in terms of history, they got the same score. But right now, it is just a best of 1. It's just one game. And it's so stressful, because you know that you don't have a second chance. This is literally the game that you have no second chance, because it's just one game. Like, if you feel like, oh, we should not have let that hero go, there's nothing else that you can do about it.
I definitely agree. It seems to me, you know, based on recent trends as well, the 31st SEA Games seems to be repeating the history of the results coming in from the 30th SEA Games, despite it to be not a coincidence, but seems to be a repetitive trend. So to me, history sometimes do repeat themselves, as the saying goes. But as of now, It is going to be the drafts coming in. You can see the coach with Daryl going to be having a conversation to try and prep themselves for Team Singapore to try and have a little bit of a motivational speech, I guess, if you get the reference.
Right now, hold on. Oh, okay. Right now, honestly, I just hope that all of the athletes had a very good night's sleep, because you have to imagine. You're going to play in the morning. And in the morning, some people are morning people, some people are more of an afternoon, some are night owls. But in this kind of situation, I kind of feel like it's almost very, very difficult to have a good night's sleep, considering you know in your mind that tomorrow is going to be the last hurrah.
Basically,
possibly the last hurrah. So how do you have a good night's sleep?
Basically, the restlessness, the anxiety that may or may not come when it comes to taking on a game, right? This pressure is always going to be on. That's why it's very, very important to have a coach, or in this case, keeping things in check for the team. Focus, mental fortitude, stamina, strength, creativity, drafts, outplaying, outmaneuvering, IQ. There's so many factors when it comes to taking this towards a next level, and everything needs to be taken into account. And of course, training does have a very, very important step for all the teams to actually get to this point, but discipline also plays a factor. So this is something that every single team has to take into consideration when they're playing at the best of the best here in Mobile Legends Bang competitive scene. However, in the SEA Games, it's very, very similar, because national pride is also going to be involved, where the stakes are higher, the pressure is on, and there's a lot of people that you have to live up to.
And you're talking about discipline. They have to make sure that they do not make mistakes. I want to emphasize, because Singapore yesterday was a little bit too disciplined, where they are too afraid to pull the trigger. And that is where even I went off on a tangent. Never wait for the perfect Monday. If you see an opportunity, just go for it. Because if you just keep giving away your own advantages over to the opponent team, they will use it, and then they will eventually use it against you. So discipline is important for both sides. Number one is to not be too aggressive, but also not to be too passive. Have a good understanding of what is the win condition for your draft, and make sure you execute it well. If you're in the late game, don't need to push early game, and then when you are in the late game, don't be afraid to go into a fight. Right now, we're going in to draft. Team Vietnam will be in the first pick, while Team Singapore is in the second pick, and they have started drafting with Eve as well as Xavier being banned out by Team Vietnam, and Team Singapore banning out the 1-1 as well as the Valentina.
Well, teams tend to like it onto the first pick side. They do have the advantage of dictating the tempo of the draft itself, but based on the draft so far, it feels like Vietnam, like I said as well, they are going to be prioritizing and taking away Team Singapore's compositions. However, when it comes to meta picks, there is still a lot on the available. Super underrated heroes. That is going to be heroes like Fanny, heroes like Ling, heroes like maybe even I would say the Xavier is going to be starting to showing a little bit light, but I'm a little bit curious on whether or not Team Singapore are they going to bring in the Cho as well, which is not exactly a favorite between all the other teams except for, I guess, Team Malaysia, but I think they can opt to just let it slide for now, coming in from Team Singapore.
My personal opinion, having watched the Singaporean team play for quite a while, JPL is a very, very talented roamer. I don't like it when he uses this Enchantress kind of style, because he is really hoping for his own team to set things up, where during training, everyone is hoping for JPL to start things out. For example, if he's using Angela, he is really waiting for his EXP laner or his jungler to initiate any kind of fight. Where if he was using a Franco, if he's using a Cho, even a Jawhead, he will initiate something and then everyone else will follow up. And right now, Team Vietnam have secured for themselves a Masha, which is one of the picks that they had when they won against Singapore.
You know, that's the thing about the Masha, right? Everyone has been raving on how strong it can or cannot be. It has been nerfed a couple of times, but still, in the current meta, it is more suited to be on the XP laner as a tank XP laner. So it is very, very annoying. It's very, very difficult to deal with, because if you let it if you do not keep the Masha in check, things are going to get out of hand. So it's something that Team Singapore has to consider. But of course, like you said as well, regarding JPL, I feel like it all comes down to prioritizing your steps, prioritizing your lessons, and improving your gameplay, right? We know JPL to be that aggressive tank and rogue, but sometimes when push comes to shove, you need to be able to be flexible in playing certain metas to prepare for the next step. If you think about it, this is only the beginning, right? Sometimes it's a little bit uncalled for, but just because, let's say, for example, Team Philippines, Team Malaysia, they're bringing the Enchanter style, just because you want to match and mirror them, you kind of force yourself to play those very similar play styles in order to adapt to the next situation.
I like Singapore's pick over here. Having the Lilia makes it easier for them to defend against any kind of invasion towards the jungle, or they themselves can start invading the jungle and then getting the Beatrix onto Adamir, which yesterday was a powerhouse. And Vietnam, they replied with Popol and Koopa as well as Kagura. Personally, I feel like the Kagura might be a little bit too early, but perhaps this is one of those heroes that they know specifically can fight against Singapore when they do like to group up.
Yep, Team Singapore, they tend to actually go on towards an AoE-centric playstyle where a lot of chase CCs and as well as AoE. Kagura is just great and disengaging as well. But the question remains here as well is that whether or not Team Singapore, are they going to match that rotation? But it seems like they are not going to go for CC-oriented. They are going to go for those invasions. They are going to go for that purified, or maybe even goes just raw damage in general, just because of Team Vietnam. They're dodging stuns. It's okay. We don't need stuns. We just run at you, waste your spells. And if you think about it, on Team Vietnam, you've got Kagura, you've got Masha. These are two heroes that you have like generic free purifies built in as a kit to actually play this. So there's just no point going for heroes that just going for hard lockdown unless, and I mean unless, it is going to be like a suppression. However, Franco completely ignored from both sides as of yet.
Yeah, but right now, Team Singapore, they are really taking comfort heroes. They're just taking heroes that they know they can play well. I feel like this is the best approach because, again, it's the best of one. You want heroes that you know they're very, very limits. You know how much damage that they can push out and how much damage that they can receive. Now, Team Singapore, they are banning out the Barats. They want to make sure that they have a favorable jungle matchup, because if Singapore can get a gold lead onto Adamir, just win the gold lane by itself, they can potentially do what they did yesterday and snowball the game out of control, controlling all of the lanes. As of right now, their draft, I feel like they can do that. But I do like your point about Franco. I feel like that should be a hero that should be either banned, or after this, Singapore, they're going to pick it up themselves.
Yep. Speaking of junglers as well, it seems like Team Singapore, they are going to go for the tank jungler, and heroes that can actually mess up the Karina's rotation or match speed is going to be heroes like Sparxia as well as Barat. Of course, Team Vietnam, they are not going to be having the opportunity as well, but the question remains here. Are they going to mirror it by going for the tank jungler playstyle, or are they going to play something else? Or in this case, a random, I would say, I don't know, it's very, very not favorable, a jungle Lunox to try and penetrate the sword dance of the Karina. But like I said as well, Team Singapore, they're not going for CC straight up. They're just going to be going for split push potential and just raw damage and sustain. So that's going to be the Uranus coming from Singapore to go in for those split push potential. Vietnam, however, is going to go for the Hilda, and this is going to be potentially the roaming Hilda, I guess.
Yes, potentially. You know, there's always the possibility of switching things up, because Hilda and Masha, both these heroes are very, very flexible, can be pushed on the roamer side, EXP. You know what? Even if they put it in the jungle, I wouldn't be too surprised. I'm not saying I say that's the best, but I would not be surprised. Singapore, I like the Uranus pick because they're really making it into a situation where in case they do fail in the early game, Uranus is there just to cut the lanes, just to proxy the waves, so that they can actually make sure that they can proceed to the late game. And Team Vietnam, they're going to secure their own draft by having the Bellman in the jungle role.
Wait a minute. Is this what I think it is? It is going to be a marksman Popol... Oh yeah, wait, sorry. It is going to be a marksman Popol Gubao after all. It is going to be a Balmond jungle, like I said as well, from representative Team Vietnam. Team Singapore, however, I feel like they have a better matchup just because the Karina just can completely ignore every single one from side Team Vietnam except for the Masha and the Balmond. So that is going to be something that Team Singapore is going to be worried about, especially towards the early aggression, right? Balmond is just so much stronger when it comes to taking the first turtle or maybe even the second turtle, just because you have this additional toolkit of having this Lido counter on top of the retribution.
Oh, and right now, Team Singapore, they're opting for the Rafaela. Like I said, I prefer if JPL uses an engaged type hero, but they finish off with the Rafaela. And right now, for Team Vietnam, I feel like they have a very good potential to actually control the early game in terms of the side lane, just because they have crowd control earlier as well as they have the damage. But the question is, which lane do you want to go? I feel like the mid lane is going to be very, very difficult just because they have the Lilia, so she can clear the minions pretty fast. And level 1, level 2, she's very strong. Do you want to go for the Beatrix instead, or do you want to go to the Uranus? So I want to see if they do want to be proactive, they have to choose the lane and commit to it.
Well, seems to me Team Singapore, they've already picked their drafts and they are going to be forcing JPL to go for that Enchanter style to suit their composition. Overall, in general, I really like what Team Singapore is thinking, but of course, as your personal preference, you would like to see JPL's aggression. But Team Vietnam, they've got their drafts, and this is going to be the tiebreakers for day number 2. And it is going to be Vietnam on the blue side and Singapore on the red side. And whoever wins this best of 1 series is going to come on top, and seems like we are going to be jumping in towards a pause. Apologies for that. And of course, all good things must be, a little bit, reference, and we have to give you guys a little bit more suspense if you guys want to have some fun time with us today.
It's okay. I managed to look at the minimap, and it's very interesting what Team Singapore are doing. They're really anticipating an early jungle invade over to the purple side. So the way that they are handling is that the Karina is not going to attempt the purple buff at all. He went straight to the orange buff, and we can see Adamir actually not going straight to the gold lane, but actually waiting in the buff position. So he's probably just waiting for a potential Hilda or the Masha coming in, so that he can get something there. And Gennard over there is showing his face, but once he sees that the Karina is not there, it's probably a good decision to make, to be like, you know what, I'm not going to stay here for long, because the Rafaela is just going to stack the damage onto me, and then the slow, and then eventually just going to give off a free first blood.
No, I definitely can see where you're coming from as well, especially in the first rotations, right? The difference between having a Hilda matchup is that the Hilda is going to be on your side of the map. And tentatively, if you want to play like a Rafaela and Karina comp, you want to be dictating the tempo for yourself. And I agree that going for this switch out coming from Singapore, going for orange as well, gives you a little bit more option to take the orange buff, get to the Little Wanderer a little bit. I believe the Little Wanderer was on the bottom side as well. To, after they get able to transition for the invades for the purple buff, if and only if Team Vietnam is not going in as well. But you can see also a little bit of glimpses now that JPL was already thinking about the next step, which is going to be invading the purple buff. He's going to be scouting out, going a little bit of harassment, so that the Karina, if given enough time, is going to strike and go for the invades. And this is where they can put up a little bit more aggressive map control or even tempo to actually match up for the next upcoming fight. Because if and only if Team Singapore is given this momentum, they are going to be able to transition well, because their composition is not about getting kills. It's about stalling for time, being so annoying, and applying so much split push for pressure. It is going to cause confusion in the ranks of Team Vietnam's composition.
Yeah, right now I just appreciate how the Singapore team, they have adjusted their own rotations against the draft coming in from Team Vietnam. I feel like they have a very good understanding of what they're supposed to do in this game, just like you said. And right now, no, it's taking a lot of damage, and Team Singapore did not manage to secure the Little Wanderer.
Yep, seems like Team Vietnam going to be on the blue side. As you can see, there's just not much happening as well. They're going for the invades with Gennard coming in. Seems like they are going to have Team Vietnam playing on, I would say, the roamer position for the Masha rather than the Hilda. So the beauty about this is they can't interflex this. So Team Singapore, they are kind of matching it as of yet.
Oh, and look at that. Mio is taking a lot of damage, but managed to get out of that. But for Team Singapore, I feel like this is a situation, looking at how the Vietnam teams are playing, is that I feel like they are playing a little bit too aggressive. I feel like Team Singapore, they can look to punish. Maybe in the early game, it's still difficult to take down the Masha, but if the Masha keeps playing like this, I feel like it is a situation once Reminiscent hits level 4, or once Adamir gets very, very comfortable in his own lane, they can really start to punish all of the front lines coming in from the side of Vietnam, like No as well as Gennard.
Yep, as of yet, Team Singapore, they need to find a way to actually stop the Masha, because eventually, this roaming Masha may not have the fastest clear time, but once you hit those really, really ultra late game stages, Adamir and Sayla is going to have a very, very difficult time. But it seems like the first turtle is going to be on its way. As you can see, it's going to be clubbed up coming from Team Singapore, and they've got the Enchanted Star, but who's going to get the retribution? It is going to be No using out the Lido counter, and now Team Singapore is going to lose Reminiscent in the process. No is going to try and get a little bit more, but he's getting kited by the slows coming from Seoul as well as JPL. Team Singapore going to focus him down eventually, and as you can see, Zo rolls him down. There's absolutely no way that No can survive this due to the slows. However, Mio has something to say about it as well, but Sayla going for the black shoe, looking to get more out of it. Unfortunately, not going to be getting more. So it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Nothing super major from either side yet.
Yeah, massive team fight coming in from Vietnam as well as Singapore. Singapore did not manage to secure the turtle, but of course, this is going up against a Bauman. Is going to be very, very difficult because he has about like what, a 2,000 true damage retribution on his side. And unfortunately, Reminiscent did die in the last skirmish, but No died as well. And it was very, I would say, he did not have to die. They committed to a fight a little bit too long. They should have just gotten the turtle and then back off and then try to get advantages elsewhere.
Agreed. But seeing the plays coming from Vietnam, it's really surprising that despite all the facts, there are a little bit of space for Ngọc Ngan on the Popo and Kuban to get some sort of farm, despite arguably not having a favorable matchup against a Beatrix, which is very, very unfortunate. But as long as he's getting decent amount of farm, he is going to be able to dish amount of damage, especially taking advantage of the tankiness of the Masha itself. But as you can see, Team Singapore, they are going to be making a play down bottom. So, however, it's going to be trading 50-50s with Duc Nam. Not the end of the road. They're calling the Bauma, but so he is going to have the sustain to tank through this. And I don't think Team Vietnam is going to be able to kill him off right from the get-go.
Yeah, but looking at the bottom side, we can see how Team Singapore, they're focusing on the turret. Adamir is not looking for any kind of team fights. He just focuses on making sure that he gets the gold plating. And I feel like that is still a favorable trade for Singapore, even though they had to trade JPL for it.
Yeah, this is so worth it and smart. Throwing a body just for the gold plating for a marksman is absolutely worth it, considering that JPL has got to pull yourself together. And it's only this early stage of the game. It's not the end of the road. He has to respawn time. And now Team Singapore, look at this, immediately as targeted as well. They are going to try to counter the second turtle, but unfortunately, the little counter and the retribution steals coming from No is just a little bit too strong as compared to just one retribution from Reminiscence.
But we can also see the damage coming in from Singapore. Gennard cannot tank that much, so he has to be careful. It's good that they have a lot of movement speed. If not, they will be caught out by the Rafaela. But right now, Reminiscent is going on to the Popol and Koopa, but unmanaged to do so. 4 members of Singapore are down here in the bottom lane, and I feel like they really want to make sure that Adamir gets to snowball his own lane. But the initiation going into Team Singapore, No is there in front. JBL has nowhere to go. Oh, he used a clutch flicker, but Mio still manages to get the kill. Unfortunately, Singapore did not manage to get a turret, and JPL is again trading his life just to make sure his own team stays alive.
Well, in the midst of all this confusion, Team Singapore was making so much space, with Seoul also going to be cutting the creep base on the top side, cutting behind the second turret. However, Duc Nam was able to mirror the matchup. However, bottom side, oh my goodness, that should not have happened. Adamir being picked off means that Team Vietnam is going to have full control in terms of the marksman's lane.
Yeah, looking at the goal right now, the Beatrix is still ahead against the Popol and Koopa. However, Singapore, they have to be careful because right now we're looking at Sayla. Sayla's taking too much damage. Black shoes have been used trying to get a kill. Gennard is gonna die over there under the tower of Team Singapore. And Sayla, a beautiful defend. But look at both towers in the gold lane. They're equal in HP now.
Yeah, agreed. But as of yet, Team Singapore, they're losing out all these trades, but they have to try and make a little bit more space because Team Vietnam, even though they look very dominant in the early stage, but when it comes to the later stage game, they do have a little bit lacking in terms of damage output when it comes to chipping off into his team's Seoul as well as Reminiscent. So the only people they can pretty much bully out is pretty much Adamir and Sayla. And for them to actually scale back to this game, they need to stall for time. And that is going to be the gameplay from Team Singapore. And once again, the third total contest once again is going to be prioritized as Team Singapore. They're not too happy about losing 2, and if they get 1, they are going to be able to take advantage of the fight. But seems like from behind, Gennard is going to try to bully out JPL, while the rest of Team Vietnam is going to be focusing on it as well. The leader counter comes in, but no patience from Reminiscence is going to get the retribution team, and this is the fight that Team Singapore is looking forward to. And Vietnam very quickly retreats out of harm's way.
Right now, Team Singapore, they have to figure out a way how they're going to get a kill instead of focusing on the objective itself, because No has proven that he can basically 100% secure the turtles, and I feel like during the Lord fight, it's not going to be that different. And Team Singapore, I like that they have the awareness to avoid the Yin Yang overturn, because Mio actually got a 4-man Yin Yang overturn, but everyone managed to get out of it before the secondary burst damage comes out. So good awareness in the early stages of the game. I just hope they don't lose focus in the later stages of the game. Soul right now is trying to protect the bottom lane turret, but it's 1 against 2. Can he clear this minion? Now he's taking a lot of damage, but again, this is a Uranus. He can do this all day. I can do this all day, bro.
Oh, this is so smart, and so he's intentionally keeping the minion outside the tower range so that he does have that backdoor protection, and because of that, so much space is being created. And look at this Team Singapore, they're looking to go in for the middle control threat, and they are gonna make a dive. Mio is gonna go stop them in his back, but of course, one mistake is going to cost them their life, and that's why having the Rafaela played by JPL is so helpful. He gets you in and out of the situations. But Adamir, looking for the snipe. Is he going to go for it as well? But no, okay, that's close. No, focusing on the middle tower is going to be the way to go coming from Singapore. They want those mid control.
I'm sorry, but I like to watch snipes. Doesn't matter if he's coming from the Beatrix or the Xavier. Right now, we can look at Team Singapore. They are pushing mid. They're trying to chip off as much damage as they can, but Team Vietnam, all the bodies are in front of the turret, making sure that the turret doesn't fall. Adamir really wants that, and Team Vietnam, they're doing so well to protect, but Yin Yang overturned on the way to Reminiscent. He was still able to survive. Adamir finally managing to kill off the mid lane turret for Team Singapore.
Yep, discipline is at play as well. Team Singapore taking objectives one at a time, and they are going to get it. And you can see Adamir continuing to open up the map. They want to sing up for the Lord. If they can get a little bit more damage in tier 2, it's going to be huge, but you can see the purple buff will be stolen away, and that is going to be Team Singapore coming on top in the trades, and Mio also going to be chunked away before the next setup. Team Singapore, do they want to go for the Lord? It seems like that's going to be the case, but they need to sync up the lane, so they are still playing a little bit safe for now before making the next big play.
Adamir, the Singaporean sniper, he's really looking for targets. It really doesn't matter who. And right now, he already has his Malefic Roar. So even though Gunnar, No, as well as the Nam is tanky, he can deal with them. Especially looking at the weapons that he's using right now, Renner as well as Wesker, they scale really, really well with high physical stats. So instead of focusing on his attack speed instead of the DPS, he's focusing on the burst. And right now, Team Singapore, they're still going for it. They want the top turret next.
Agreed, but Team Singapore, I don't think it's a wise choice as well. They understand they need to get a little bit more into this map control, but I don't think it's the right play as of yet. The lanes are not exactly synced out. Meanwhile, Team Vietnam, they are going to be finally making a play. They need to figure out on how to kill So, and this is the thing I'm talking about as well. Eventually, they just don't have enough damage to finish him off, and now they're split between the decision. What do they fight? But it seems like they are going to force it as well. Reminiscent is going to be harassed on his way through, but there's just a lot of spells being dished out, but nothing much has been garnered because eventually Team Singapore is going to be able to out-heal all that poke damage that Vietnam is doing.
Yeah, late game, I would say for Team Vietnam, Mio as well and Ngajak can actually do a lot of damage. The Popoli Kupa as well as the Kagura does scale well, but it's going to be very easy for Team Singapore to outscale them just because of the Beatrix, as well as, like you said, Soul is going to be unbeatable. And look at that.
Oh no.
They're taking a lot of damage. Soul coming in from behind, trying to proxy the wave. And right now, Team Singapore, they want to make sure that they get the turret. If they can get a kill, that's a bonus. No is in front. He manages to run away, but look at Adamir with just a sliver of help. Right now, Team Singapore, they have no choice, but they have to go back. It's a good thing that JPL is there just to give the heal. If not, Adamir would have given off a free kill.
Oh my goodness, Adamir, that was too close. He wanted to get a little bit aggressive to try and trade off towards Noel, but what he did not expect was that Noel was a little bit too tanky to be expected as well. As you can see, Noel is already has his dominance eyes as well as the Vorax, so technically he does have the damage, and on top of it all, he was pretty much in lethal range for that chop before losing that. If they lose Adamir then and there, they might have lost a lot of the slot control, but now Vietnam, they finally pre-hold and they are going to push back, and Grenard is going to open up the map for now. But Singapore doesn't seem to want to choose this fight yet. Reminiscent, however, is all by himself. He's not going to get surrounded. You can see the bursts are coming in, but the sustains from JPL is going to keep him alive momentarily. Can he survive the leader counter? Oh, barely 1 pixel away. Means that he is going to miss the kill threshold. Wow, Soul is going to continue to chip away at the back lines, and Norcha is going to get caught off. And like I said as well, Team Soul is gonna have a very, very good time playing on this arena. So it's pretty much unkillable at this stage.
Beautiful team fight coming in from Singapore, where we can see Adamir actually managing to get a render shot on to the Popol and Koopa, and then Soul just finishing up. Right now, No is 1v4, and he's gonna die. The little counter will not be able to do much. And again, we can see how Hilda is 1v4. Team Vietnam, they have to be careful. They're going in one at a time. Against Team Singapore, you gotta go all in. You gotta go all 5 members of the team and focusing on Adamir or Sailor. Once they're gone, then you can start picking off the rest.
Oh, this is so disgusting to watch. You can see the sustains from Singapore, but what is super underrated is the poke coming in from Adamir with the snipe. JPL, however, getting Brunt forced away, but Gina tries his best, but he's only trading a support for support, and just like that, Team Singapore is gonna get the map control that they need. However, this time, they will lose the sustain. Soul is still alive, but they need to go for the reset for this next fight. But unfortunately, Team Singapore doesn't have the capabilities to challenge the Lord as of yet.
Yeah, I feel like that was a good play from Gunnar because he made sure that Team Singapore does not secure the Lord there, because I feel with the Lord, even if they get just one extra turret, it's really going to help Team Singapore having that map control, because we were talking about it. If Singapore has that map control, it's going to be even more difficult for Team Vietnam to move forward. Right now, looking at the itemization, for No, as you said, not much has been changed. I kind of want to see blade armors coming in, and I feel like Hilda is building up to a blade armor, because once they have, then they can start contesting against Adamir.
Yep, seems like Team Singapore finally takes an opportunity going for the trench as well as Vietnam going to be opening up the map. Vietnam has no choice but to force the issue. The Lord will be conceded for now, but Team Vietnam, they are going to go in for the chop. They've got no available. Can they go for the snipe? It seems like he won't steal the Lord. Just like that, Team Singapore, they concede the fight, and they are forced to force the issue as of yet. They take down Dunat, they take down Dunam, they take down Mio, just like that. It's going to be a triple kill for Adamir, and now on the top side, No, it's going to be stranded all by himself, but it doesn't really even matter. As long as you keep him out of harm's way, Team Singapore is going to make the GG push as they are making their way down towards mid, regardless of the lore. As Team Singapore, they want to close out the game. 9 seconds left for Gina to come alive, and Vietnam has to defend against his No chance. It's going to throw their body, and Team Singapore, they don't really care. They're throwing their bodies, they're focusing the crystal, and they take the game against Team Vietnam. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Singapore is your final semi-finalist here at the SEA Games.
Congratulations to Team Singapore, and look at that. Even though Team Vietnam managed to secure the Lord for themselves, but just by winning the team fight, they understood, guys, we have 2 minions. No matter what, push your body forward, just make sure the minions doesn't get attacked by the turrets, and then push to the end. That was an amazing play, and I kind of want to say that was almost a desperate play, because they know they do not want to have a long round of matches against Vietnam again. So once they see the opportunity, they took it. Congratulations to Team Singapore.
Very, very smart play coming from Team Singapore. Mini congratulations for now, because it is still the beginning of the match. They will be facing off Team Philippines later on today. So this is going to be a very, very important one. But as of now, the first task has been completed, and that is going to be Team Singapore advancing. And however, sorry to say, home ground, Team Vietnam is not going to be able to advance into the semifinals.
Good game, well played. They tried their very best. Against Team Singapore, they were able to get a win yesterday. However, in this best of 1, it's all just one game. And we can see Team Singapore, they pull out all the stops. They got all of their favorite heroes, and they managed to do very, very well. So as you said, this is a tiebreaker match. Now we have our top 4 nations going to fight for the gold medal, the silver medal, as well as the bronze medal. This is an intense SEA Games series where yesterday we can see all of the nations play very well. However, I feel like today is going to be even more intense.
Agreed. I'm looking forward to see how that goes down. But like we said as well, the top 4 is going to be happening today. And of course, also the third placements of the bronze match is going to be happening by the end of today, where we will find out who is going to be securing the first medal for the team. And that is going to be the bronze one by end of today. Of course, if you have a better medal, obviously you would aim to achieve higher, but still, a medal is still a medal. Regardless, top 4 is impressive results here in the 31st SEA Games, especially for the Mobile Legends Bang Bang division.
Yeah, again, no matter what, I feel like none of the athletes are really thinking too much about it. They're just focusing one match at a time. Because again, we will be looking at the top 4 teams after this, after we do the post analysis for this game in particular. So let's talk about that first. How Team Singapore, we can see it's almost tunnel visioning. They really want to make sure that they secure the outer turrets as fast as they can, get that gold lead, and once they have that gold lead, push on their advantage. So they were playing around Adamir. No matter what, they're just playing around Adamir. Seoul is just there to make sure that their own outer turrets doesn't get chipped off. As we saw, he proxy the waves just to make sure that they can control the map. Yes, Team Vietnam, you're trying to push, but we're not going to let you. And right now, let's look at the itemization for Team Vietnam as well as Team Singapore. And we can definitely see for Team Singapore, their key to victory, I would say is Seoul, Sayla, as well as Adamir with the Beatrix, Lilia, and Uranus.
I feel like this is pretty much a textbook plays coming from Team Singapore, right? If you think about it, the Rafaela just compensates so much against the Uranus when it comes to all this sustains and pushing effect. Sayla going to be MVP for the match with his Lilia plays, and it's no surprise as well considering that Lilia is just so difficult to kill. But who can blame him? He's got so much poke damage, he's got so much sustains. You can see every single time of skirmish coming from both Team Singapore and Team Vietnam. They have this composition that just completely outscales whatever DPS the Team Vietnam throws at them. And without any sort of burst potential, they're not going to be able to trade off any sort of kills. Then pretty much, I guess the only one was pretty much Jinard, which you see coming from the Masha. But getting kills onto a roamer doesn't exactly contribute in winning the overall momentum of team fight.
Yeah, and it's not fun to fight against Ililia. One, she has her Enchanted Talisman as well as the Ice Queen 1. The amount of slows that you will receive is just annoying, and it just makes it worse because it's almost invisible to the eye. You're really not sure where the next explosion is going to be, so it makes it very difficult to actually fight against this hero. And we can see how Team Singapore as well as Team Vietnam, they want to play the objectives, but the objectives are different. For Team Vietnam, they want to make sure that they secure all of the turtles, which they succeeded. And for Team Singapore, they want to focus on all of the turrets, which they succeeded.
Yeah, making sure that Adamir has farm is going to be a very smart play as well. You can see time and time again, Team Singapore, they're just stalling for time, right? And even JPL's sacrificial play was very, very necessary. Even though, like, dying, people think that, oh, dying is a very, very wrong play. But if you go for a death, you trade your left for a different kind of objective, it's always a good thing. You have to think about a bigger picture, and Team Singapore is just always one step ahead against this match from Team Vietnam. And eventually, when it got to this stage, you can see that everyone from the side Team Singapore is just so hard to kill coming from the sustains from Seoul. And even Adamir as well was, very close to near death. Team Vietnam was able to just penetrate all the way through.
And right now, let's look at today's schedule where we just saw Team Vietnam going up against Team Singapore. And with that, we can see at 2 p.m. is going to be Team Singapore going up against Team Philippines. And then proceeding forward, it's Team Malaysia going up against Team Indonesia. And for the teams that lost against their respective countrymen, they're going to go down to the bronze medal match at the end of the day to conclude who will get the bronze medal.
Yep, this is going to be the important ones here in the semifinals for all 4 nations, because whoever wins their series is going to be immediately booted into the grand finals and guaranteed a medal by the end of the 31st SEA Games. So, this is we're finally here,
Yeah,
I know, right?
Worst case scenario, silver. Even though everyone wants the gold medal, right? But if you tell me, okay, call up your president or whoever is the leader of your country. Okay, worst case scenario, silver. I would be over the moon. I would be over the moon.
Yeah, says the guy who's got a bronze medal for previous season.
I wish it was silver, but bronze, not bad.
Still a medal.
Still a medal. Yeah, but either ways, we're going for a break. After this, we are going to look at the 4 teams that will be contending. So make sure you guys don't go anywhere. We will be back right after this.
actually my first time visiting Hanoi, Vietnam, and in the past 24 hours that I've been here, there are so many things that I like already. But the best thing that I like about this place, Hanoi, Vietnam, is the weather. I think this is the perfect weather for me. You can go outside and wear a jacket and do not feel hot. And you can go outside and not wear a jacket and do not feel cool. It's the perfect weather.
Yes, I tried it. I really like it. And also, it's very delicious and dry sound.
Hi, I'm Daniel James Del Rosario, also known as Wise, the jungler of SEA MLBB. I respect all the teams and I think they're all strong. But in order to be a champion or to be a gold medalist, you need to defeat them also. I don't have a team that I want to face, but rather I want to face them all so I can test my strength.
Hello everyone, I'm Dexter Lucy Alava and my IGN is Dexter and I'm the RS of Blacks International.
I'm Kyle Dominic Soto from MLBB Cebu team.
My name is Salim and from MLBB Cebu team, also known as Haji.
I'm Ayon Usi from MLBB Cebu team, mid laner of 6th man of Blacks.
The team we want to face is the Indonesian because their team is full of strong and talented players. So in order to become a champion, we have to beat them.
No, because I never thought that I will become MLBB pro player because I played just for fun.
I'm confident enough that my team will get into the finals because my team has prepared well for this 31st SEA Games in Hanoi, Vietnam.
I'm Kyle Dominic Soto, vice trainer of MLBB Cebu team.
I'm Saling, also known as Haji from MLBB Cebu team.
I'm Ayon from MLBB Cebu team.
I am Christopher Ricapagasa, coach of MLBB Cebu team, and I'm also known as Bonchan.
My name is Lee Howard Gonzalez. I'm the gold laner of the MLBB Cebu team.
I'm Anil Jandani, the assistant coach of MLBB Cebu team, also known as Master the Basics.
I want to thank all the MLBB fans, especially our MLBB community, and I just also want to ask them not to only support us, but to support all the Filipino esport athletes that will represent our country.
No, I haven't really visited any country yet, but the weather here in Hanoi is really good.
Laban! Laban!
Hi, hello. My name is Daryl. My Indian name is Yang Lin. I'm the reserve/coach of Team Singapore.
Hello, my name is Ramus. My IGN is Reminiscent, and I'm the jungler for Team Singapore.
Hi, my name is Stefan Chongluchi. I go by the Indian name of Soul, and I play the EXP lane for Team Singapore.
So for me, I think it's a bit special here in Singapore because our team here in Singapore, even though there is many games that have the esports, basically we could pursue esports, but not at a very high level. So therefore, for me myself, I've been jumping from game to game in the last 10 years. And afterwards, when I realized that Mobile Legends was like a stable game in Singapore because it is the most popular game in Singapore. So I decided to try my luck here by joining an academy team just last year, even without any experience, and slowly worked my way up to join the top team in Singapore, and therefore ending up here today.
I would never think that I would become a professional esports player in general. So what happened was I was enlisted to national service, and I used to play a lot of games. They include mobile FPS, and I've always shined in mobile games. And when we enlisted in national service, we only had our phones during our rest time. And then me and my bunkmates, we kind of just downloaded it because it's still mobile, and we just we spent a lot of time playing it together. That's where I did a lot better than my peers, and then I went on to make new friends in game itself. We formed a team, participated in community tournaments back then when the team was really small, and never looked back since then.
I think as my friend Daryl mentioned, Mobile Legends is becoming one of the most popular games in Singapore. As for my hopes and wishes for Mobile Legends in Singapore, I hope to I hope to achieve a medal or a good result during this current SEA Games, so as to make it so that the future generations, the current and future generations, will continue to receive support from Team Singapore.
My name is Benzo and in-game name is Bella and I'm the mage.
My name is Adam. I'm also known as Adam here, and my role is the goal lane.
My name is Akihiro. My game name is JPL, and I'm the roamer for Singapore.
Personally, I would like to versus the Philippines or the Indonesia team because I'm friends with like a few of them, so like it'll be very interesting to versus them.
I'm still a student, so I just have to manage my time well to study and both play the game at the same time.
This is a very well-rounded of meta, and most likely will be pretty sure because we play anywhere.
For this 31st SEA Games, our team is really gunning for a medal finish. We haven't had a break since the previous tournament, and we have been really training hard for this. For future plans and aspirations, I think we really hope that the athletes that would represent Team Singapore, especially in sports, to not only Mobile Legends, to really go for it and achieve better results.
Right. To the countless of fans supporting us, do continue to support us as we hope to do Singapore proud to get a medal finish, and we also hope to, of course, inspire some of you guys, to be going through the same as us in the future. So I tried like food in Singapore. There is like Pincha, Pho, and Bani. I would like to try like the authentic one that in Vietnam, Hanoi, like specifically. And I also like impressed by how like brave they are, like crossing the road. There's like so many motorcycles and cars, but like they are able to just like cross daringly, which is something that I won't be able to do.
One Team Singapore!
Nama saya Idrin bin Abdul Jamal, IGN saya Momo. Saya bermain sebagai goal laner untuk tim Malaysia. Perasaan saya bila sampai ke Hanoi ni rasa sangat excited, dan cuaca kat sini lain lah daripada Malaysia. Tim Indonesia sebab tim diorang ada banyak all-star daripada negara diorang.
Hi, my name is Suku. My role is jungler. Nama saya ialah Suku and role saya ialah jungler. Ya, sebab saya memang dari dulu suka main game lah.
Nama saya Zikri bin Syamsuddin, bermain sebagai millennial. Nama in-game name saya adalah Mon dan saya role sebagai millennial. Saya sangat bangga dengan saya sebab dapat bermain di SEA Games dan dapat represent Malaysia. So, diorang sangat happy, sangat bangga dengan saya. So, ini adalah sebagai salah satu cara lah untuk saya buktikan dekat family saya yang e-sport ni boleh berjaya. Nak kata dekat fans kat luar sana, thank you sebab selalu support tim Malaysia, dan insyaAllah kita akan bawa pingat untuk Malaysia lah. Hai, nama saya Wan Osman bin Wan Imran, IGN saya Komes, and role saya ESP lane. Daripada apa yang saya nampak, maybe kita orang boleh secure antara gold ataupun silver lah. Perbezaan maybe dalam segi trafik, sebab kalau tengok kat sini ramai yang bawa motosikal, tapi diorang punya trafik tu kurang jam lah. Kalau Malaysia jam, banyak kali jam lah. Itulah. Nama saya Muhammad Farhan bin Wakiman, IGN saya Moy. Role saya adalah roamer dalam tim Malaysia. Saya nak mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua fans yang menyokong kita orang, tak kisah sama ada kita orang menang ataupun kita orang kalah.
Hai, nama saya Muhammad Amir Razik, IGN saya Haji. Role saya jungler. Saya rasa tim saya boleh pergi sejauh top 3. Tempat yang saya nak pergi di Hanoi ialah Dongsu Market.
Nama saya Muhammad Zulishan bin Muhammad Nur, IGN saya Zon. Saya bermain sebagai roamer untuk tim Malaysia. Tim yang saya nak lawan adalah tim Indonesia sebab diorang bawa turun semua pemain-pemain yang all-star dalam diorang punya country. So saya rasa ini adalah tim yang seronok lah untuk lawan.
Pekerjaan saya untuk sekarang ni memang full time gamer, tapi nak kata susah tu memang susah, tapi kita orang dah biasa lah untuk training semua. So nak teruskan dia punya passion tu memang kena keep motivate diri sendiri lah untuk terus main game ni.
Kita orang aim untuk dapatkan goal, and then kita orang cuba untuk dapatkan gelaran champion lah dekat pentas M4. Hashtag
Belum. Ini special.
Kita orang aim untuk dapatkan gol, and then kita orang cuba untuk dapatkan gelaran champion dekat pentas M4. Bagi Mobile Legends adalah game yang paling best lah dekat negara saya, and then saya harap e-sport dekat Malaysia dapat berkembang lebih jauh and lebih maju. Hashtag Hashtag Malaysia boleh.
Halo, gua R7, nama lengkapnya Rivaldi Fata, asal dari Bandung. Gue bermain di SEA Games ini mewakilkan Indonesia. Awalnya sih nggak nyangka sih bisa jadi pro player gitu, kayak jalan dengan sendirinya gitu. Pasti kayak tiap anak-anak punya impiannya masing-masing lah. Dulu gue pengen jadi dokter juga, cuman namanya belum rezeki, ya rezekinya ada di e-sport sih. Yang gue harapin di Mobile Legends sih untuk Indonesia ya pastinya biar bisa lebih gede lagi Mobile Legends-nya, terus makin banyak kompetitif tahun ke tahun kayak gitu-gitu makin ditambah. Ya itu aja sih harapan. Ya untuk para fans kita minta doanya agar kita bisa memberikan hasil yang maksimal di Hanoi SEA Games 31 ini. Semoga kita bisa membawa emas ke Indonesia.
Halo, nama gue Albert Masih Iskandar, nama gue Albert. Gue bermain di timnas Indonesia sebagai jungler. Yang pasti nggak bakal ngira sih bisa jadi kayak player Mobile Legends yang sebesar ini sekarang. Ya karena juga awalnya kan main cuma salah-salahan lah, tapi ya bersyukur banget bisa sampai segede sekarang. Menurut gue tim Indonesia sendiri, gue yakin sih bisa nyampe grand final lah. Apalagi tujuan kita semua sama, kita mau dapetin emas balik ke Indonesia, ya gue yakin kita bisa dapetin emas sih. Ya buat kalian semua para fans, ya kalian semua dukung kita terus, apapun hasilnya kita bakal lakuin yang terbaik kok buat Indonesia juga.
Nama gue Isan, nickname gue Luminer, umur gue 21 tahun, gue dari timnas MLBB Indonesia. Karena gue dari pas zaman gue sekolah, gue udah kayak latihan Mobile Legends, kayak gue udah mimpi gue jadi pro player. Dan ya gue percaya sama kerja keras gue. Untuk para fans, makasih yang udah dukung gue atau tim gue dan juga timnas Indonesia ini yang sedang berjuang. Dukung terus, makasih banyak kalian semua yang udah dukung. Semoga kita dapat hasil yang terbaik. Nih, bantu doanya ya.
Hello guys, my name is Calvin Winata. My nickname is CW. I'm from Indonesia and I'm playing God lane for my team. For me and my team, we play two tank. Yeah, it's already we usually play two tank and it's not a problem for us. I hope Mobile Legends at Indonesia or maybe at the world can be more have tournament and have a good. I think Mobile Legends can become more grower, become more popular and have a good. Of course, me and my family is very proud and happy, of course, and we will have a good celebration, I think. Yes.
Halo semua, nama gue Calvin, nickname gue Vin. Gue bermain sebagai roamer di timnas MLBB Indonesia. Pendapat gue tentang Mobile Legends di Indonesia itu udah cukup berkembang dan gue harap perkembangan itu bakal terus menerus, jadi menjadikan Mobile Legends semakin besar lagi. Tujuan gue dan juga tim gue untuk SEA Games kali ini adalah untuk membuktikan bahwa Indonesia itu adalah negara yang cukup kuat di Mobile Legends
dan target utama kita adalah membawa pulang medali emas. Kepada para fans, terima kasih banyak yang udah dukung kita sampai sekarang. Tetap dukung kita supaya kita dapat menghasilkan hasil yang terbaik buat Indonesia, buat diri kita sendiri dan buat kalian.
Halo semua, nama saya Niki Fernando Pontodowo. Hal yang gue rasain waktu datang di Hanoi, tempatnya sangat nyaman, bagus, bersih, dan juga bisa kayak apa ya, suasananya nyaman banget lah. Kalau makanan di Hanoi, kalau dari gue belum makan. Cuman kalau menurut gue makanan di Hanoi enak dan bakalan bisa jadi selera gue juga sih. Buat tim yang buat gue lawan, paling dari Filipina juga sih, Filipina. Buat kalian semua yang ada di Indonesia, selalu dukung kita. Karena kita akan berjuang untuk Indonesia, buat bangsa kita, buat mengharumkan nama Indonesia. Dan gue akan ngelakuin yang terbaik, kasih yang terbaik, biar kita bisa dapat emas.
Halo, nama aku Gilang, nickname Sans. Kayaknya nggak ada kepikiran kayak gitu, soalnya dulu tuh main rank biasa doang, main terus rank. Kalau kepikiran jadi pro player, enggak. Kita main rank doang soalnya, semangat dulu. Kenapa tiba-tiba main Mobile Legends? Dulunya main game lain sebenarnya, terus kan teman-teman yang lain mainnya Mobile Legends, ya udah ikut main Mobile Legends juga, dan sampai sekarang main Mobile Legends. Rasanya ya paling pertama ya senang banget lah, ini kan pertama kali aku juga kepilih jadi masuk SEA Games, ya nggak ada lain-lain sih, pasti senang banget. Buat Indonesia, dukung kita terus semuanya biar kita makin semangat dan semoga kita nanti mendapatkan medali emas.
We want to do our best and get the best outcome that we can get. Of course, gold medal is what we want to do. After this tournament, we all have our own competition to go on. But right now, we just compete together as a team to do the best result for our country. We actually want to try a lot of food, but I'm afraid that there's a lot of restriction going on in SEA Games. Yeah, and kita apa? One voice. Timnas MLBB Indonesia, jangan terbaik! Yeah.